What is up guys, Jack here with another video, and the Tokyo Game Show ended 2 days ago and we got to see some very good footage from upcoming games, but the one that caught my eye especially was that of Death Stranding, a game so enigmatic from the mind of crazy Hideo Kojima, and I mean crazy in the best way possible. Well, the thing about this is that although we got to see a trailer, we still know jack about what the game is going to be about. In my opinion, it's a good thing, because we unfortunately find ourselves in a time where publishers are kind of forced to reveal a lot of their games, a lot about their games, because, well, we are always worried about, are they going to downgrade the footage, what is the gameplay going to be about, are the specs of our PCs going to be handling that, and especially how gamers and game informers want to check whether or not there is an implementation of microtransaction in the games. So it's a bit of a sad state that we are finding ourselves in, that we cannot just simply enjoy a game and dwell in its secrecy. So I kind of like the idea of not quite knowing what the plot is going to be about and speculating a lot about it, and it kind of brings the community together because we kind of theorize a lot about these things, and I kind of believe that that is the point that Kojima is trying to make here, because although we know very little about the game, one thing that is very prominent and that he has stated himself is that the game's attempt is to bring gamers together, a new way of playing that will connect gamers around the world. So I don't quite know how it is that he's going to go about it, but I'm very hopeful. So, the game show itself. Well, during the game show they talked a lot about the recordings that they have made, the voice actors and stuff like that, and I imagine that a lot of the interviewers that were trying to figure out what the game was simply about kind of received this as an answer. Hello Kojima-san, thank you so much for being willing to partake in this interview about your upcoming game, Death Stranding. So first and foremost, what is Death Stranding about? Well, you heard it here first, folks. Now to the trailer itself. We got to see the character of Norman Reedus once again, Sam Porter, who was transporting now a living being. Now, who is this character, you ask? I believe that this is Stephanie Houston, the same character who played Quiet in Metal Gear The Phantom Pain. Not only because of the facial features, but also because it has been hinted throughout some of his tweets and the location that he has been in recent time. Yes, I've been following him on Twitter. And that's one of the things that I actually want to point out about this, because although, as stated before, Hideo Kojima wants the game to be about player and the connectivity, it is very much also about his connections with the rest of the gaming industry, as we have seen the people that he is trying to get involved into this. Not only people that he has worked with in the past, but also people in the gaming community, as the next character that we're going to be talking about. Now, not only that, we also get introduced to a second character that I actually was not expecting to be here. Hidden figure that we have seen in the trailer back in 2017. Man with the golden mask was very much speculated to be the same character that would be portrayed by Mads Mikkelsen.
It's not him!
Because of his menacing appearance, the fact that he was also carrying a baby, the fact that he was able to command some of these beings, and also that same gesture that he made in both trailers. Judging by the voice, it is Troy Baker.
It's literally unbelievable.
Yes, Nathan Swing and Mason Drake's brother. He is going to be incarnating the figure of the man with the golden mask, and there is something that is very interesting with this character especially, and that is that there has been some speculation about his origins, judging by the way that he looks, and especially the suit that he wears. Now, we can see that he also has a flask containing a baby, and that is a hint to him also possessing the same kind of technology that Norman Reedus and the other men that we have seen in the previous trailers also have. Now, the very interesting thing here is that some months ago, Hideo Kojima was visiting the Palais of Versailles, and that is the French castle where the old king Louis XIV and Marie Antoinette were living, and previous kings, of course. Now the hint here is that he was looking at masks. And I personally believe that this has a certain importance. Now, this is a little bit of a far-fetched theory, so bear with me as this is just a speculation. So, because I like to go back and check out some old games, I was playing some Assassin's Creed this summer, as I was anticipating not only the release of Odyssey and just watching the gameplay and wanting to know a little bit more about the thing that I've played in the past. I don't quite remember if this is a DLC or not, but there is this kind of section called the Missions of the Dead Kings, where you're actually going through the lineage of kings and queens and rulers of France, especially that of Napoleon, where you kind of aid Napoleon in accomplishing certain missions and also kind of derail some of his plans. Now, the interesting part here is that you are playing at some point as a character that is a descendant of the royal family. Now, so if you know anything about French history or have seen the 1998 movie The Man with the Iron Mask starring Leonardo DiCaprio, you might be aware of the fact that there was a member of the royal family, or at least a descendant of the royal family in the 1700s, who shared royal blood. This man was jailed by the royals themselves and was forced to wear an iron mask for the rest of his life. Now, many speculation has it that this man was either the king's twin brother or an illegitimate son of King Louis XIV, the Sun King himself. The idea of an illegitimate son is the one that makes the most sense, as this person is actually in historical records and was said to have died at the early age of 16. Now, in what concerns the masks themselves, as stated before, Kojima was looking at masks and has posted images of Egyptian masks on his Twitter before. Egyptian tradition was that they were supposed to have the same facial features as the one who wore them, and they were designated for the dead. And these masks were interred with the deceased and were not intended for public display, which is ironic because they are now displayed in museums. Now, the purpose of the death mask was to give the dead a face in the afterlife, and they were thought to allow the spirit to recognize the body and allow them to be accepted by other peoples in the realm of the dead. Which is pretty interesting because this is kind of what we're seeing here, as these enigmatic figures uses the mask to summon the dead, and they are kind of obeying his order and not attacking him, unlike Norman Reedus and other people in the game. So is this character possibly a descendant of the French family? Is that theory a bit too far-fetched? Or is it possible that he's the twin of Norman Reedus, like an evil twin who is actually capable of doing quite a lot? Because we do know that Norman Reedus' character is supposed to be kind of like your everyday man, which is why he is a transporter and not a soldier or something of that kind. Kojima has stated himself that he wanted to make him a bit more clumsy, as we have seen in the E3 trailer this year. So how about it? An overpowered evil twin. That could be fun. That is voiced by Troy Baker. I mean, do twins necessarily need to have the same voice? I don't think so. So it might not be too far-fetched of an idea that the same character as well would be time displaced. And also, since Death Stranding seems to be a game where time and space are just tools that we can use, I believe that it's fair enough to imagine that something like that is possible. So, Troy Baker's character summons a sort of beast, which design I very much like, and I find it pretty cool because in the previous trailers we only got to see these vector-like creatures, and I say vector for those of you who have seen Elf and Lead, you might get that reference. And in the gameplay trailer that we saw in E3 this year, one of the versions that he encountered seemed a lot more animalistic than the others. Furthermore, I do not know if Hideo Kojima reads Bleach, but I do know that he is a fan of certain mangas and anime, especially Akira, which is actually relevant for my next point. The idea of using the mask to summon some of these beasts is pretty damn cool. Like, it's a kind of a holification process, if you know anything about the anime. And we've seen that he has pulled some ideas from mangas before, like the time fall mechanic, straight out of Yugo Ishikawa's manga Sprite. Is it a lion? Is it a fell beast? Is it some overgrown demogorgon? Who knows, it looks pretty damn cool. And I'm very much interested in seeing how it is that Norman Reedus' character will handle those things. I mean, if he's some kind of feline, it's definitely something that can track our scent, can't it? And are we just supposed to be running away? I mean, it can very much go full Zod on us, like.
I will find him, Lara. I will find him!
Overall, Death Stranding seems to be having a very solid cast, and for somebody like Hideo Kojima, whose dream was actually to make movies, it is a very good thing. And especially when you have someone like Guillermo del Toro working with you, and we've seen that they have been working before on PT, we are in for a very good ride, because Guillermo del Toro, you have to remember also, is the man that has won this year's Oscar for Best Picture and is very well known for bringing monsters to life, like in the Fish Banging movie or Crimson Peak, Pacific Rim, Hellboy, you name it. And although we don't get to see a lot of the gameplay, one thing is on everybody's mind: when is this game going to be released? In my personal opinion, I kind of want the team to pull out a Cyberpunk 2077 and just say that the game will be out when it's ready. But Hideo Kojima himself has stated that the game should be coming at the expected date, and he has been kind of hinting to that throughout some tweets and his love for Akira. And I say Akira because the plot of the movie revolved around a nuclear explosion in 1982, mention of explosions once again. But the event of the movie itself took place in 2019, which was supposed to be the time of the Tokyo Olympic Games. But we do know now that the Olympic Games are officially going to take place in 2020. So judging from that, we can kind of conclude that the game is supposed to be released around early 2020 or late 2019. But all in all, I am very excited to hear more about this game and to see more of Hideo Kojima's madness. But what about you guys? What do you think about it? Let me know in the comment section below. If you have spotted anything about the trailer that you think that I did not mention, please leave them in the comment section as well. And yeah, if you liked the video, give it a like, and I see you guys next time. Bye.